appreciate it. We got to get right into things. So I think it has been abundantly clear in a very quick amount of time with Makayla Timpson being inserted into the starting lineup that her chemistry with Caitlin Clark is off the hook at this point. I mean, it's off the hook. The pick and roll looks great. Makayla Timpson runs the floor. We don't have Makayla Timpson trying to play point guard.
There's growing sentiment that Makayla Tims may currently be a better on-court fit alongside Caitlin Clark than Aaliyah Boston. To be clear, Boston remains the more naturally talented player overall, bigger, stronger, and more skilled in raw ability. But the way she's been playing lately doesn't seem to mesh with Clark the way it used to.
We don't have Makayla Timpson being a hub. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, and I posed this question before the game started when I found out Aaliyah wasn't playing. I said, hey, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is a good thing because maybe this forces Stephanie White to actually let the best point guard in the world be the actual point guard of the team and not have the center bringing the ball up with Caitlin Clark playing off ball all game. And Makayla Timpson is good in her role. She sets real screens.
It looks like the chemistry the two once had has faded, with some pointing to coaching influence from Stephanie White as a factor in that shift. Right now, based on recent performances, Tims appears to be the more complementary piece next to Clark. Since being inserted into the starting lineup, Tims' on-court chemistry with Clark has stood out immediately.
When she gets rebounds, she outlets it out to Caitlin Clark. She's not trying to dribble it up herself. She passes the ball to Caitlin Clark. When Caitlin Clark passes her the ball and then runs back at her for a dribble handoff, she hands the ball back off. All things that Aaliyah Boston no longer wants to do. Aaliyah Boston wants to bring the ball up the floor. Aaliyah Boston wants to be a hub. Aaliyah Boston wants to stand at the three-point line and block driving lanes. Aaliyah Boston doesn't want to hand the ball off. Aaliyah Boston doesn't want to finish around the rim. I mean,
the pick and roll execution looks sharp. She runs the floor well, and she isn't trying to operate as a secondary ball handler or offensive hub. Before this shift, there was some hope that removing Boston from the equation, even temporarily, might force the offense to fully commit to Clark running the point, rather than having possessions initiated by the center. Tims has embraced her role well, setting legitimate screens, outletting rebounds directly to Clark instead of trying to bring the ball up herself, and properly executing dribble handoffs.
Makayla Timpson is making every layup she shoots. Aaliyah Boston shooting layups like Angel Reese nowadays, bro. We got to keep it real here. So at this point, I feel more comfortable with Makayla Timpson's out there with Caitlin Clark. Now, let's get to a few things here because we're not just saying stuff, okay? I'm not the only one that sees it. People say, I fear that Makayla Timpson has much better chemistry with Caitlin Clark than Aaliyah Boston was. Okay, and people are saying they're overdoing the big guard thing. KK isn't asked to.
These are all actions Boston has reportedly moved away from in her current approach, seemingly preferring to bring the ball up herself, operate as a facilitator near the perimeter, and stand closer to the three-point line rather than attacking the paint. Meanwhile, Tims has been finishing efficiently around the rim, while Boston's finishing has looked shakier in comparison. This isn't just a personal read. Plenty of fans and analysts have echoed similar observations, noting the offense looks noticeably quicker with Tims on the floor and that she isn't being asked to do more than her role calls for.
Facilitate, catch and go, and that's perfect. Okay? And look at it. I thought the same myself. Offense looked far quicker last night. KK becoming more consistent than AB. She's flexible, good at blocking and rebounding. Everybody can see the chemistry part of what's going on with Caitlin Clark and Makayla Timpson. Now, is Makayla Timpson as talented as Aaliyah?
She's shown flexibility, solid rebounding, and reliable screen setting, and the on-court chemistry with Clark has become increasingly visible. Again, in terms of pure talent, Boston remains the more gifted player, but right now, there's a clear disconnect. A center trying to function as a facilitator on a team that already has an elite point guard running the show.
Boston, no. Skill for skill, talent for talent. Aaliyah Boston is bigger, stronger. She's just more talented overall. But chemistry matters. And at the end of the day, we got a center that wants to be the point guard when we already have a damn point guard. Now, if Aaliyah Boston wants to get her mind right and get out of this hub stuff and get back to playing the way she played with Caitlin Clark rookie year, then cool. But if not, she needs to sit her ass on the bench and stay there. Take a look at this.
If Boston can realign her game back to how she played during Clark's rookie season, that dynamic could shift back. Until then, based on recent film, Tims appears to be the more effective fit next to Clark. Looking at specific game film, in one sequence, Clark is left wide open, but Boston chooses not to make the pass, visibly frustrating Clark in the moment, and this pattern reportedly repeats throughout games, not as an isolated incident.
I'm going to show you the difference in the film with what goes on when Aaliyah Boston is on the court with Caitlin Clark versus Makayla Timpson. Now look at this here. Aaliyah Boston refuses to pass it. This is courtesy of ESP Ben. Shout out to ESP Ben. Okay. Caitlin Clark wide open. Aaliyah Boston refuses to pass her the ball. And this is just one play. Look at Caitlin Clark, frustrated. Okay, this is one.
In another clip, Clark comes off a dribble handoff attempt, but Boston hesitates and doesn't complete the exchange. On a separate possession, a pick-and-roll pass to Boston results in a rejected shot at the rim. Screen setting has also looked inconsistent, with several examples of weak or incomplete screens that don't effectively free Clark from her defender.
They're like, Aaliyah Boston does this all game. All game. Okay, she does this all game. Now look, Caitlin Clark coming for the handle. Aaliyah Boston refuses to hand the ball off. Look, she refuses to hand the ball off. It's ridiculous. She refuses to give Caitlin Clark the ball ever. Look at it. Caitlin Clark coming for a handoff. She won't hand it off. She refuses to hand the ball off. Caitlin Clark gets it to her on a pick and roll.
By contrast, film involving Tims shows a clear difference. In one clip, Clark is triple-teamed, finds Tims in open space, and Tims converts an easy layup. In another sequence, Tims sets a legitimate screen, forcing a double team on Clark, then rolls into open space to finish over multiple defenders at the rim.
All off the ground, because I'm here to tell you, she got embarrassed in a major way, but nobody received more embarrassment than none other than Natasha Cloud. Oh my God. Natasha Cloud has got to be Donkey of the Year the entire calendar year of 2026. This was her face as she looked defeated.
The screen itself involves actual contact with the defender, allowing Clark to navigate around it effectively, something that hasn't been happening consistently with Boston's screens lately. Another notable difference, Clark has regained the ability to throw ahead outlet passes to a trailing big running the floor, something that used to happen frequently with Boston, but has become rare, largely because Boston has reportedly been more focused on bringing the ball up herself, rather than running ahead in transition. With Tims in that same spot, she's positioned to consistently receive those looks, because she's actively running the floor rather than handling the ball.
At times, because she has lost this battle. And a battle been, look at this, Enes Kanter made her stand on business. What do Uncle John always tell you? The internet will give it, and the internet will take it away. Natasha Cloud, retard of the day, trying to fight Enes Kanter's freedom. By the way, her team got blown out 113-90, and to make assault to
DeJounte Carrington struggled through a difficult night for Chicago, while Natasha Cloud drew significant attention both for an on-court altercation and for a stretch of play that coincided with a sharp offensive drop-off for her team. According to a statistical breakdown highlighted by commentator Jason Whitlock, after Cloud scored a basket and then became involved in a heated exchange with a spectator who was removed from the arena, Chicago was outscored 32-5 the rest of the way. Cloud had helped cut Indiana's lead to 81-75 late in the third quarter before that sequence, but did not score again for the remainder of the game as the Sky's offense stalled.
Blown out 113-90, and to make assault to injury even worse, shout out to Jason Whitlock, because Jason Whitlock pointed this major key piece out, and I think ain't nobody talking about this. Jason Whitlock stated, after Natasha Cloud hit a bucket and then moved to in his counter publicity stunt, the Sky was outscored 32-15. Cloud had to cut the fever. Cloud had actually.
Following the game, Chicago head coach Tyler Marsh addressed reporters on a range of topics. Asked for his reaction to the loss, with just 6 games remaining in the season, Marsh said the locker room remains focused despite the difficult stretch, emphasizing that the team is playing not just for the current results, but for long-term development, pointing to a young roster still growing and veteran players working their way back into rhythm after time in and out of the lineup. Asked about strong first-half play from 2 of his players operating out of the top of the key, Marsh praised their aggressiveness.
2-15. Cloud had to cut the fever. Cloud had actually cut the Fever lead down 81-75 late in the third quarter. Then she continued her publicity campaign. She never scored another bucket. That is mind-blowing, bro. Mind-blowing. I'm not even going to hold you. She simply altered the energy of her team, and her team was trying to rally back in it. And we all know Tyler Marsh got it.
He pointed out that the team still shot 50% from the field and recorded over 20 assists, adding that scoring 90 points is generally a strong offensive output, but that it's difficult to win while allowing an opponent to score 100 or more, particularly against a team like Indiana. On the third quarter incident involving Cloud, Marsh said he hadn't yet spoken with her directly following the game, but had addressed the team as a group. He said he reassured her that she wasn't viewed as a distraction, and that the team stands behind her as someone who protects her teammates and looks out for people who need protecting.
Her team was trying to rally back in it, and we all know Tyler Marsh got an answer to all of the questions, and we're here for.
And what's your reaction?
I mean, my reaction is we still got basketball left, and so we've come a long way this season. I don't think anybody in the locker room is ready to mail it in. I think we all understand we got a job to do. We got a organization in the city to continue to play for. We got a lot of young.
When asked whether the team discussed the incident itself, which involved a fan being removed from the arena, Marsh said that wasn't the focus of his message to the team. Instead, he expressed pride in how the group rallies around each other, noting Cloud needed a moment to settle back in, but ultimately played a strong game. He described her as someone who is passionate about her teammates and the things she believes in, and said the team is equally passionate in supporting her. Asked whether he had a message for the individual involved in the incident, Marsh said he felt he had already made his position clear in prior weeks, adding that there's a lot to appreciate about the league and the quality of play on display, and that fans attending games should be there to enjoy the basketball.
Organization in the city to continue to play for. We got a lot of young players that still have time to continue to develop. We still got veteran players that have been in and out of, the lineup and rotation that, still want to get some rhythm. And so, we're not just playing for the right now. We're playing for the future too. So, this is not a 6 games left. It's not a time to stop.
So Z and Camilla had to go in there in the.
He said that expectation seems reasonable to him, especially coming from someone with a basketball background themselves. Marsh was also asked about strong bench production, specifically from a player returning from missed games, and called her performance great on both ends of the floor, noting she got to the free throw line effectively and provided valuable energy given Indiana's fast-paced style. He acknowledged the team is still managing some playing time restrictions with certain players, but said the group did what it could against a difficult opponent, adding that Chicago spent too many stretches of the game playing at Indiana's pace rather than imposing their own.
I'm gonna stop.
So Z and Camilla had to go in there in the first half. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Z operating at the top of the key and just kind of how you guys could keep tapping into that.
Yeah, I thought Z was good today. I thought she was aggressive and took advantage of her opportunities, finding open windows. I think that the second half our offense sputtered a little bit, mostly because we weren't getting stops. And I think that Indiana kind of took us out of kind of our rhythm offensively a little. Indiana kind of took us out of kind of our rhythm offensively a little bit, but at the same time, you shoot 50% from the floor. I think we had another 20 plus assist night. 90 points is pretty good. It's just tough to win when you give up 100 plus, especially to a team like Indiana. So,
Coach, of course, the incident in the third quarter with Tosh. Just wanted to ask what your perspective was there as a coach, and at the same time, have you talked to Tosh about what happened there?
I haven't talked to Tosh. I know that she was I talked to the team, and